When you're playing a horror game, you know what you're signing up for. We're talking creepy basements, we're talking violent cults, we're talking about putting your face right up close to something, and then there's a jump scare. Bound to happen. But when you're tooling around in a cyberpunk metropolis, wandering a suburban neighborhood, or God help you trying to perfect your long game, you're in no way mentally prepared for sinister surprises such as these. And so brace yourself for 7 Easter eggs in non-horror games that were, like a midnight power outage, surprising and dark.
All units in the area. Disorderly conduct reported in Watson.
331 responding. On my way, dispatch. But only because I like you.
Cyberpunk 2077 shows us how technology can be used for good, like putting cool metal bits in your face, and for evil, like a singing gun who can't carry a tune in a bucket.
Bum bum be dum bum bum be dum bum.
Ugh.
What has technology wrought? To stumble across some truly next-level tech-enabled evil in Cyberpunk 2077, though, you'd have to be sniffing around under the highway that divides Well Springs and the Glen. Here, amidst the tyre fires and unhoused folk, you'll find a corrugated metal shack that's sealed up, but for a convenient crawl-in hole around back. There better be some good loot in here, you think, as you casually crouch walk into an oh my god, it's a serial killer's lair full of bloodstains, surgical tools, and Dexter-style plastic sheeting. Things are even more explicitly sinister in back, where environmental storytelling and a trail of online messages tells us a netrunner has been luring children via cyberspace to her murder shack. CD Projekt Red here making the reasonable substitution of putting dead young adults in cages instead of actual dead children, but you get the idea. The netrunner, who has recently been murdered herself by a vengeful vigilante, went by the distinctive handle 8 Yaga. 8 Yaga is a reference to the Baba Yaga character of Slavic folklore, a witchy, boogeyman-style crone who steals and eats little children, and for our money, the creepiest Easter egg in all of Cyberpunk. As for the loot you came in for, she is wearing a legendary Netrunner suit, so if you're happy peeling off and wearing the bodysuit of a mythical child eater, fill your boots. The boots you'll actually have to get somewhere else.
He's on the green.
Despite it making up about 50% of the material of famous humorists such as Bob Hope, Johnny Carson, and P.G. Wodehouse, golf isn't generally considered to be an inherently wacky sport. And this holds true in most golf games, which tend to play things as straight as an ideal wood shot down the fairway. Thanks, Mario. I'm trying to make a point here. Anyway, most golf games keep things sensible and serious, including the venerable Golden Tee series of arcade golf games, a staple of bars everywhere and notable for its trackball control system that kind of looks like a big golf ball. Synergy, you see. If you were good at Golden Tee golf, chances are that impression of seriousness would remain untarnished as you lofted drive after drive onto the green with punishing power and accuracy.
Golfer 1, trying for birdie.
If you were bad at the game, however, you might stumble across some weirdness hiding in the periphery of the game's courses, just waiting to be discovered by bad golfers searching for their balls. Most of these are weird, certainly, but not what you'd call dark, like Bigfoot, who's just hanging around watching the action, I guess. Darkest of all, though, is this Easter egg, found on the Aspen Lake course by knocking your ball carelessly into a patch of trees.
Get the chainsaw.
Head into the thicket to play your ball and you'll discover Golden Tee 99's darkest Easter egg, a fellow golfer lying dead in a pool of his own head blood. Was the golfer dead before we got here? Or did our appalling short game finally kill more than our handicap? Probably best not to think too hard about it and just play through, eh? 4...
If horror movies have taught us anything, it's that children are creepy and up to something. And if you think yours aren't creepy and up to something, you're not paying close enough attention. Long-running Mamorpaga, World of Warcraft, knows precisely what's up with kids and their sinister shenanigans, as you will discover for yourself if you're ever up around 7 AM server time, rambling in Elwyn Forest, and come across the infant gang colloquially known as the creepy Goldshire children. human urchins named after 6 Blizzard employees can be found mooching around the city of Stormwind, Goldshire and Northshire Abbey, drifting wordlessly like some kind of psychically bonded pack from place to place and finally to their home on Crystal Lake. Yes, Crystal Lake, the accursed swimming hole of Friday the 13th fame, from whence came counsellor-slaying hockey enthusiast Jason Voorhees. And that's not even the scary Easter egg. The real horror is going on upstairs in the kids' home, where they gather every day to perform some kind of inscrutable ritual.
It's here where the game music turns to gloomy, haunted house-style ambience. Now the kids take up positions in an unwholesome formation, up to what we can't say, but definitely no good. Unchillest of all, a disembodied voice goes all like,
Sheesh! Hey kids, do your parents know what you're doing? Let's be real, their parents are long dead. That's all we ever get from these creepy-ass kids, making this a spooky, self-contained Easter egg tucked away in World of Warcraft. And the most disturbing part of all, I had to get up at 7 AM to record this footage.
It's not uncommon to hear screaming in a Saints Row game, but usually it's screaming that you're causing with your various ridiculous weapons. Good, honest screaming. Nothing wrong with that. Much more unsettling is screaming that you can hear but can't see the reason for, and that's something that the Saints Row series likes to hide away in its open worlds as an Easter egg for curious players to discover and be horrified by. The first instance of this is found in Saints Row III on Arapis Island, where you can approach this abandoned, boarded up house, only to realise that it's not as abandoned as it looks, and that someone is definitely inside, and definitely having an extremely bad time. What on earth could be going on in there, you wonder, and will continue to wonder, because there's no way of getting inside, meaning that this screaming will forever remain a dark mystery for Saints Row players. Much like the similar screaming that can be found in Saints Row 4 behind these warehouse doors in Steelport. So what's going on behind these doors to cause all this screaming? Does someone else in there have a marital aid they're using as a baseball bat? Because honestly, that's kind of my thing. Not cool.
I'm the best around!
Sometimes crossover events are fun, like Infinity War or Godzilla vs. Kong.
I keep reaching for greatness because I'm built from it.
Sometimes crossover events are dark and disturbing, like Coca-Cola flavoured Oreos. Now you stop that. On special occasions, crossover events are both of those things, and we're counting this Game of Thrones Easter egg from The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. On a remote Skellige island, Geralt can witcher his way to a fortress named Caer Almholt. The fortress has been occupied by bandits, but after you've given them a thorough witchering, you can explore the place and chance upon a prison cell with a close resemblance to the so-called Sky Cells in Game of Thrones. Sky Cells, Game of Thrones fans will remember, were the prison cells of the mountaintop castle known as the Eyrie. Each was a small cell with walls on 3 sides, and on the 4th, nothing but a long and deadly drop into the abyss. As accommodation goes, it's breezy and the view can't be beat, but if you like to roll around while you sleep, you won't be needing the buffet breakfast. In Game of Thrones, everyone's favourite Lannister, Tyrion, was locked up in such a sky cell and survived the ordeal. If you witcher up a set of prison keys though, you can unlock this door to another cell with another panoramic view and sadly, the corpse of a notably short man with the distinctive Tyrion-esque facial scar. This Tyrion lookalike didn't even fall off the edge of this open-air dungeon, but passed away from non-gravity related causes, leaving a bleak Easter egg for Geralt to discover.
Sky cells. Nice idea for a prison without bars. Shame he didn't know how to fly.
Geralt, please. A man is dead.
I have to tell you, these are the best muffins I ever had. I'm supposed to meet a client for a house showing today, but I can't stop eating.
Given the number of ghosts that Hitman protagonist Agent 47 creates, it's surprising that he doesn't get haunted more often. That's not to say he doesn't get haunted at all, however. As we've spoken about before, 47 can encounter an honest-to-goodness ghost in the Tools of the Trade mission in Hitman Contracts. But the more recent Hitman trilogy has its fair share of dark and creepy ghostly encounters as well. Like for example this Easter egg, which can be found on Hitman's Miami level upon entering the aquarium. Make your way inside, turn around and look up, and you'll see an eerie red light, a sign crudely reworded from live exercise in progress to live exorcism in progress, and one of Robert Knox's creepy crash test dummies tied to a cross. Zoom in on the dummy with your rifle and you'll be unhappy to notice the dummy will turn its head to look at you. Which is scary, but not nearly as scary as when you zoom back out, notice the dummy has disappeared, and then turn around to find it standing right behind you. Ah! A similarly scary situation can be encountered in the Whittleton Creek bonus mission, A Bitter Pill. Those steeped in Hitman lore will know that the Muffin Lady, Helen West, from this mission, is in fact a killer, having murdered one of her neighbors with a poison muffin.
Sinister-looking basement. What could she be doing down here?
If you manage to knock her out and drag her to the room where the murder took place, in the office of the target you're actually here to kill, the doors will start opening and slamming closed of their own accord as West's victim's ghost makes their displeasure clear through a little poltergeist activity. Let's hope none of the 14 guards, gardeners, and random civilians I had to kill to set this up had any unfinished business, or I'm in real trouble.
The concept of a director's cut of a Hideo Kojima game is an odd one. Surely he's not cutting anything if this is the stuff that's making it into the finished game.
Sam, would you mind if I joined you?
Humor him. His knowledge and experience will probably come in handy down the road.
Yes.
And his name? Dollman. Kojima, you've done it again. However, a director's cut of the most Kojima-y Kojima game, Death Stranding, was released in 2022, 3 years after the original game's release. The changes seem to be mostly quality of life improvements, cosmetic additions, and the ability to replay boss battles, but some changes were bigger, like the removal of Monster Energy drink. Pour one out for the end of an era. Another change was the addition of some new random scenes that you could encounter when going to sleep in Sam's safe room, and one of these, a dream sequence, takes the crown for the most disturbing thing in Death Stranding. Yes, even more than the Jeff Keighley hologram.
Good job, man. Good job.
In this sequence, which you can encounter after going to sleep, Sam Porter-Bridges wakes up to notice a shadowy figure stood in his shower, in a pose remarkably similar to that of Lisa, the ghostly antagonist of Kojima's cancelled Silent Hill project, PT. You are given the option to take a shower, which seems like a bad idea, but if you proceed, the figure starts convulsing in a very Silent Hill kind of way. Not a fan of that. Eventually, the figure stops juddering around and then bursts from the shower to grab you. Man, I'm never going to go to sleep again. At least I've got plenty of name brand energy drink to keep me awake.
Yeah, go on.
It's full of L-carnitine.
Take a sip.
I'm gonna.
We're gonna wait.
Oh, we're still rolling?
Yeah, camera's still going. We wouldn't want you to not have a sip. Just refresh yourself with the great taste.
Cut now.
Hey, thanks so much for watching this video about super dark Easter eggs. Maybe you want to watch another video from us or our sister channel Outside Extra. You can click on either one of these here, but beware, one of these videos died 30 years ago this very night. So I won't tell you which one. Click on it if you dare. Thunderclap sound.